Okay, definitions. For the following terms, explain briefly what each is and indicate the appropriate unit for each term, half a mark each. So if there are no units, state no units. So firstly, what is a concurrent force? Well, concurrent forces are forces that act through the same points or the same location at the same time. So forces acting through the same point, in other words, the same location, at the same time. So if you only said same point or only said same time, then that would be half a mark. If you said both same point and same time, that would be a full mark. And we're dealing with forces here, so our units are newtons, and you get half a mark for getting the unit correct there. Okay, so that's what a concurrent force is. Now, a center of mass. So a center of mass is the point about which a lamina or a shape or an object is balanced. So the center of mass is the balance point. And the centroid, because it did ask you to state how it's different from the centroid, is only the geometric center of the object. In other words, it's just the center of the area. So you would have noticed that there was an extra mark on this page because there were 5 marks for the definition, and 2 for the units, even though there were only 4 different things to define given. So the 5th mark comes from stating how the center of mass is different from the centroid. So the center of mass, you get 1 mark for the definition, the balance point, or it's the point about which all of the mass is concentrated. So it's going to be the same on each side. So it's the same above and below. It's the same to the left and to the right. So equal mass on the left of the balance of the center of mass as on the right, and so on. And the centroid is only dealing with area. So if you mentioned that would be 1 mark. And also the units for the centroid and the units for the center of mass, that we're looking at the location from the particular pivot point. So it's a measure of distance from your point that you've chosen to be your origin. So therefore your units would be meters there. It's a common misconception that centroids have no units, but the units are definitely meters. Okay, tensile force. So what does tensile mean? So that just means that it's a force that's pulling or stretching the object. So it's a pulling force or a stretching force. So that's the definition. And we've also got the unit. So we're again talking about a force, which means that we're again measuring something in newtons. So that's half a mark if you get newtons correct there. Okay, equilibrant. Some of you would have said that that's the opposite direction of the resultant. Well, that's true, but it's not really a definition, because the natural question that you would have asked from that is, what is the resultant? So you would have then had to give the definition of the resultant. So it's not very effective as far as a definition is concerned. So if you said the opposite of the resultant was all you said, then that would be half a mark. So the true definition of the equilibrant is the force that needs to be added. To make the sum of all forces 0. Or if you want to look at that another way, the force that needs to be added to put the system in equilibrium, where equilibrium is when the sum of the forces is 0. So that is your definition. And now we also have the units. The equilibrium is also a force, so that's also going to be in newtons, and half a mark for the units there. Thanks for watching.